Hello, I'm Rabbi Rachel Gartner, Director for Jewish Life here at Georgetown, and I'm delighted to be back with you during this time where we're providing spiritual continuity. I find myself thinking a lot as we come to graduation and the end of this time of the year and some students' careers at Georgetown. I find myself thinking a lot about the paths that we walk, how we get on those paths, what keeps us on them, and what sometimes enables us to stay on them in a good way, and sometimes what keeps us on them, even perhaps when it might be time to make a change. So I'm thinking a lot about this teaching from Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav, who said, Kol ha'olam kulo gesher tsar me'od ve'ikar lo lehitpached klal, which means the entire world is a narrow bridge, but the essence, the most important thing, is not to make oneself entirely afraid. Sometimes we have translated this as the most important thing is not to be afraid at all. But that would be cruel. We know that. In a life where scary things happen, to suggest that we shouldn't be afraid at all is like, as a colleague of mine put it once, suggesting someone who is in pain shouldn't cry at all. It's a cruel suggestion. But Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav was really saying, do not be consumed by fear. Do not allow oneself or even make oneself be entirely fear. Rather remember that's only a piece of the picture. And I think in this time, when we're thinking about the paths that we are walking in life, we learn from a young age, this is a path that will bring you joy and fulfillment and sustenance. And we experience that to be the case often. And we walk the path and we know it and we go through the steps and it's a good path. And it's leading, we imagine, to something lovely. And that's great. But then sometimes the path gets pulled out from under us like a rug, right? And we free fall. And of course we're afraid. Of course we're afraid. We can only feel the loss of what we don't get to have. We feel the confusion and the disorientation. That was my path, and we keep trying to cling back to it. But what happens if we are entirely focused on that is we might miss the other paths that are coming along the way that just might possibly lead to a different way of finding meaning and contentment. It isn't easy to be open to change in the face of disappointment, but I want to suggest that we put that as an ingredient into this moment of our lives. The Baal Shem Tov taught that every person has a particular piece of bringing in a time of perfection that is theirs alone, that is shayach, that is connected to the root of their soul. And if we're lucky, we've been discerning and looking for that piece as we go through school, as we go through life, and sometimes we catch a glimpse of it, and then something happens, and maybe we say, oh, I'm not going to be able to do exactly that. But my question is, in a situation when something happens, let's say like a pandemic, for example, what other possible pieces are being put before us that maybe we didn't see before because we were so focused on where we were going and what we were doing? I'm wondering what pieces of the healing of the world that needs to happen now are becoming more vivid to you and are potentially connected to the root of your soul that you might be allowing yourself, that you might allow yourself to jump to listen to, and see if your path shifts a little. Perhaps it will continue in the direction it was going, but perhaps it will shift. But my prayer is that we will always remember that there are many ways and many blessings that God has for us in store. There's not only one way. And if we can be open to possibilities as we grow and as situations change, who knows what we might find. with this, I wish you so many blessings as you step into the next moment of your journey, either this summer or as you graduate and move on to this next moment in your life. Take care.